Hello, welcome to the first official episode of the Starting Steps podcast. Reggie, I want you to name by title the person who you think is the face of all the students at school, the person who everyone looks up to and none frown down on. Reggie, what role would I be talking about?
It could be nothing else other than the college captain, Baxter.
Exactly right, Reg. Today we have the Coomera Anglican College captain, Christopher Airey, joining us. Chris has been going to the school for pretty much his whole life and has formed an intimate relationship with all the students and teachers, which we'll touch on later. Chris has, for the last 6 years, been the drummer for the school's worship band, being featured on the band's debut album last year. He's often described as one of, if not the kindest, most caring and happy people that anyone has ever met. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, Max, thanks for having me. Thank you, Reginald.
Pleasure, Clash. Oh,
All right, so Chris, I'd like to start off there. Why are you so kind?
Well, that's a very subjective question, but
I feel like it's pretty objective in your case.
well, I say thank you very much for the compliment, but kindness doesn't take. It doesn't take a lot to be kind. Really, it's just a couple of simple moves. Just asking someone how their day is going, showing a little bit of interest in a little bit of things that they might be going on. So that's what I try and do. Try to show a little bit of interest in other people's lives, and if I can brighten their day for free, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. Were you always like that, or do you think something happened to influence you into doing that?
Was I always kind? I'd like to think
Yeah,
so.
like always greeting people and stuff, brightening their day.
I used to be really shy, believe it or not, back in the day. Probably in primary school, I used to stick to my a couple of group of friends and whatnot. But then I kind of, bit of a tangent here. But my dad is a massive influence in my life, and I look to be more like him, and I see him as a really kind and caring guy who's always approaching life with a glass half full attitude, and the glass can also be topped up even more. So I know it's how I've been brought up. I'm not a conflict person. I don't look for arguments. I try to avoid that at all costs. So I guess I've been trying. I am back going in some of the younger grades in primary. I was like, oh, I really want to be like this guy. My dad, he's pretty cool. He's pretty kind. He's got heaps of friends. So that's where I've tried to, I don't know, follow in his footsteps and be a bit more like him, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, that's really admirable. But Chris, before you were talking about you're a bit more introverted before. When do you? Yeah. I would definitely say you're more of an extrovert currently. When do you think the turning point was for you, or what influenced that?
I definitely agree. I'm more extroverted now, but yeah, previously, in primary, I was very introverted. Like I said before, I'd stuck to my own friends and wasn't really too phased on what the bigger picture of what was happening. But music definitely brought me out of my shell. Before music, yeah, I was really quite introverted. But with one thing with music, that actually happens is you being forced to, well, not really forced to perform, but you're encouraged to perform and get out there and show a bit of your talent. And I started guitar in grade 3 and drums in year 4, and it took me a few years to build up my confidence in it and actually be happy to play on stage and everything. And then I got with that, I was meeting new people, I was making new friends, and then it kind of just happened through that. And I think music has definitely brought me out of my shells in that respect. Yeah.
Cool.
100%, yeah. So music obviously is a big part of your past. How about now? How much of a role does music play in your current life? And do you think it still serves the same purpose, or has it maybe transitioned into a new one?
When I was younger, I thought, whoa, because I used to go to quite a few concerts. I was like, damn, I think that would be amazing to be up on stage performing like them, like in front of thousands of people, and I know hearing your song on the radio. I used to aspire to be like that. However, growing up, as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized music is very hard to get into, and it's become more of just a hobby of mine. I still really love being a part of music, especially with the worship band and all the different groups. It has definitely made me more of an independent person and more, I'd say, more organized as well, because you have to practice and put so many hours in to be able to play and be able to produce some of the songs that we do. But I don't know, it's also like a well-being kind of thing. It definitely makes me feel happier, and it always brightens my soul. Oh, music resonates with the soul and everything, and you can really, I don't know, it changes people's moods, and I think that's really really cool. The power of music. You don't even have to say like the lyrics. There doesn't even need to be lyrics half the time to tell a story. It's just coming through the craftsmanship of the song, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. That definitely did not answer the question, but yeah.
No, genuinely.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Chris, that was actually perfect because, as you say, music now, it's more of like a sort of decompression thing. And it's interesting that you still keep up such a big commitment to music alongside your leadership role. So, what do you do when you're feeling overwhelmed or you've got too much on your plate at any one time? What do you do to decompress?
Obviously, I can't always spend the amount of time I want on music, and with being in this position, you're expected to put in the work, and you sign up for it to put in the work. So that obviously comes first. And as I said before, music's more of a hobby for myself. So that's my second priority, or when it comes to schoolwork, obviously. But I know on the holidays, I definitely wanted to keep going with music, and I actually hired out. I just borrowed one of the school keyboards, and I was teaching myself how to play one of the keyboards. I learned the Pink Panther. I say learned very lightly. I can play partially the Pink Panther. But I don't know, it's just even that experience. Like I've never really played the keyboard before, and just picking that up, I know the general how like that instrument works. I'm more the guitar and drums, but working with that and finding a route to play something on the keyboard or on a new instrument, I think that's really cool. And obviously, that's why I want to keep going. But yeah, it is a hobby. That's definitely before school comes up a priority.
So I like music. It's been known that you've put out a lot of puzzles recently. Chris's weekly riddle featured in the Gumleaf Gazette.
Yes.
Do you have any influences to what led you towards doing your own weekly feature in the Gumleaf Gazette about riddles?
Well, actually, it started on a YouTube loophole, not really loophole, wormhole, I should say. I know I was just going down and I was just watching some TED Talks on just some, I don't know, just random things or just some random characters. And then it started with the TED Talk riddles, and they just came up with a whole heap of riddles. And all my life, I've been interested and fascinated with numbers. I love maths, if you don't know already. And yeah, I just love puzzles. And I've got like block puzzles and just not necessarily like puzzle pieces, but like just little fun mind-bending games, everything. And being on YouTube, listening to some of these riddles and some of these challenges, I was like, damn, that's actually quite cool. And I was thinking, oh, that could be going with the college theme of building community. That could be a really easy, not so easy way, but a cool new way to build a sense of community and I get other people involved and like-minded if they want a weekly challenge. I thought that was really quite cool. And then I borrowed some riddles from the TED Talks originally, and then kind of navigated my way through some more riddles and some more challenges. And to now what the weekly riddle is now, we've had quite a variety of brain-bending conundrums. But yeah, I think it's turned into quite a cool little, I like to say, a little community thing in there. Similar people responding every week, which is quite cool. Seeing that they're coming back for it, and they're often once the Gumleaf Gazette has gone out within 20 minutes, I might have 2 to 3 emails of possible solutions from students already. So I love that feedback and engagement, that they're also enjoying the work that I put out, and that's more encouraging for me to find some new riddles and find some other cool challenges to keep them involved and thinking.
Chris, it's interesting that you're so heavily involved and interested in puzzles and problem solving along those lines. Do you think that's impacted your leadership style in any way?
Like,
Or if it
it's
helps,
definitely, yeah.
if it helps, maybe you would be better answering how have you used those skills in overcoming a challenge that you've had this year?
Well, with a lot of the riddles, there's not necessarily one way to go about it. Like some of the answers, you could go down through this path. Otherwise, you could go over here and explore this avenue of it. And I guess with leadership, there is not one right answer all the time. There's multiple ways to see things. People have different opinions. They can view things in different situations. And I guess that's why I love problem solving. Let's go back to my maths. I love problem solving in maths and seeing how that all works. And it's definitely made me more aware of there's not one definitive answer. There's not one way to go about getting to a solution. There's also there may be faster ways to get there, but whether or not that's a better way or a more efficient way is up for argument, and it all comes down to perspectives. But yeah, so I guess with the challenges, yeah, it's made me see that there's multiple different answers and ways to go about a problem.
And how do you decide which path you're going to take?
Obviously we got a really good team. From the student executive, I'm always speaking to Kira, always speaking to Reg, and also the other prefects and house captains. We're always trying to speak as often as possible on some of the bigger issues. It's not just one person's opinion. We've had many eyes on the same issue, not really issue, but circumstance, what might be happening. So it also comes into a group decision, not necessarily one person's decision.
Yeah, so Chris, it's obvious to me that you think community and friendship and having that whole joint decision-making process, it seems to me like that's really important to you. Are there any other things, any other principles that you think make you or your team any more successful?
I think we've got a really close knitted team, and that's in the team or in our leadership, Year 12 leadership team. We're not afraid to put ourselves out there, and that's really come to show once we've been in the COVID-19, especially with the term 2 when we'll be commencing learning from home. It was a big ask for a lot of the prefects and everyone to say, come on guys, with the CAC connected page, can we put on some new
can I just
content
stop
on
you
the
there,
page?
Chris?
Yeah.
Would you mind explaining to the audience what the CAC connected page is if they haven't already seen it?
Great. So the CAC connected page is a Passmark page that is run by the student executive, or run by the Year 12 leadership team, sorry. On there you can find some riddles, you can find some challenges, you can find all the prefect divisions. There's heaps of there's lots of fun stuff you can find there, some questionnaires and well-being pages. And that's all through Passmark. So if you just log in off to the side under My Courses section, there'll be CAC connected, and that's where you can find all these cool things run by your student leadership team. It's good stuff.
And I feel like most people would say it's been quite a journey on Cat Connected and getting it to the place where it is now.
Yeah, it's been
But
one of the.
sorry,
Sorry, Reg.
no, after you.
It's been one of the big projects that leadership team have been working on, trying to get that up and running. I think we're at a really good spot at the moment where there's quite a bit of content on it. It's coming in weekly, especially with the cultural prefects at the moment with the lip sync battles from the teachers. That's been great, and we've had excellent audience engagement in that as well.
Chris, on similar lines, Cat Connected is obviously one of your most successful projects to put in. What would you say was one of your least successful projects, but you turned it into a success later? Sorry. Let's start with what was your most. What do you think your worst project was, or one that didn't pan out how you wanted it to?
With the least successful projects,
One that you may have, one that may have not gone to plan.
Well, being in the student exec, we work closely with the SRC as well. It was with the 10-second talent. It was a bit of a. I don't know. Do you want to mention that, Reg?
I feel like I'm getting called out. No, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Sorry. I feel like that was a really innovative idea, really cool way to get some student engagement going back at home, everything. However, so much. Yeah, however, it didn't turn out how we would have liked it to, which is a bit of a shame. But on that, I guess we've learned that that might not necessarily work at that time. We can review that situation. We can see what did work from that, what didn't work so well, and we can try and problem solve to find a better outcome for other challenges or other things that we might be running in the future.
And what exactly did you learn from that? What lessons are you going to take away from that failure on the SRC's part?
It's not necessarily the SRC's part. I think communication or word got out there for the senior secondary, so years 10, 11, and 12. However, wasn't so much for the junior secondary and primary, where I know currently it's not deemed as the coolest thing to be in senior to be posting or putting it's not, or people are less likely to be putting themselves out there in front of the whole school. It takes a bit of courage to do that. However, in primary and possibly junior secondary, the engagement is a little bit more where kids don't really, or students aren't really that fuss about what everyone else thinks. As such, yes, to a degree. And so, and it was hard to get word to primary when they were learning from home, and junior secondary when they were learning from home, which is when we implemented the SRC implemented the idea and try and run that initiative. So in future, probably trying to get that word out there a bit more and encourage more students to get in the younger grades to get involved.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So Chris, if I were a kid in grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, and I was one of the kids who just doesn't like to get involved, I'm a kid who kind of likes to sit back and just let things happen style thing. What would you say to that kid to try to convince them to give things a go?
Obviously, where as much as school is about getting a good education and like for the next and going into the next step for university and so forth, or unless you're doing a TAFE course or doing a trade or whatever, as after school's also about the community and getting involved. You only remember what you do and not what you don't, and that's one of the major things. With the swimming carnivals and little things like that, you can choose to sit on the sidelines, and if you're happy to do that, you're happy to do that. However, going back to the thing, you remember what you do and not what you don't. So get involved, have some fun, and when you're there, it is fun to get involved. Yeah, although you might have a couple of your mates going, I'm just gonna sit down, not really do anything, and just let the day fade apart or fade away, and say, "Oh, that was really boring. I hate swimming carnivals. I hate athletics carnivals." That's really not the best attitude to go about it. You're only hating it because you're finding it boring because you're sitting down for the whole school day. Why don't you, I don't know, go get involved, have some fun. With myself, my peak of my athletics career was in year 4. Up and ever since then, it's gone downhill awfully quickly, and I rarely get ribbons. I rarely get anything. But you know what? It's getting involved with my friends who actually do participate, and that's where I find the most fun. And then when in being in year 12 now, and I didn't used to get involved. I used to be that person who sat on the sidelines, but actually getting out of that stage and putting myself out there and say, you know what, I'm only here for another 2 years or another 1 year or no more years after this. I really want to push myself. I want to do the cross country. I want to, I don't know, run over those hurdles, even though I'm not the most athletic person, or even not even with athletics. I guess with the musical, if you don't be afraid to, like, yes, although there's going to be a lot of people that are going to see it, you're going to grow so much as a person, and yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. And I cannot drill this enough. You only remember what you do and not what you don't. So why would you not get involved and actually have some fun, meet some people, and yeah, you'll just have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, let's say fast forward a couple of months from now, and that kid who now, after such a riveting speech, is doing everything. And it's coming to the time where they're putting in applications for who's going to be the next school captain. What advice would you give to that kid who's just starting out on the leadership journey and who wants to be the school captain next year?
Um, Obviously, the more you put yourself out there, the not necessarily easier, but the better chance of you getting the role is if you're performing on assembly, if you're showing a positive attitude, if you it's not really a popularity vote at all. I don't know, I'm not the most popular year 12 kid out there. Um yeah, getting involved and actually sorry, what was the question? Sorry, Maxim.
Just
Kind of lost.
what advice would you give to someone who, next year they're putting in their application for school captain and they just want to do a absolutely bang up job?
Put yourself out there, have some fun. Think of try and think of new and creative ways, or if you see anything that um we're doing that is not, or you in your eyes is not like the best possible thing, and you think you could do it better, then I don't know, just speak to us so we can talk to you and try and get that working. But try and mingle yourself with some of the younger grades, and just talk to people, get involved. That's one thing I like. I love bands. Um, you, it like shows your organization, but you're also meeting other people in different year levels. This is not really advice at all.
Yeah.
What
Well,
advice would I give?
Chris, what do you think set you out from the other candidates when you were going for college captain?
Um,
Take a moment if you need.
I think everyone who applied for the role would have done an excellent job in some way or another, or they would have. Everyone's got new ideas. Everyone wants to implement their own little niches. I want to do this. I want to do that. But and whoever would have got the role, yeah, as I said before, would do a fantastic job. What sets me apart? I I always try and approach life with a can-do attitude. I can do this, and if I can't do it now, I will come back. I'll take some time. I'll learn how to do it properly. I'm not gonna do a half job of anything. I'm gonna see it through. And yeah, I approaching life with a glass half full attitude, which can be topped up. There's always room for improvement, and I don't know. I guess that's a really good attitude to look for. I'm quite involved. I feel like I'm quite organized to a degree. I may not be the most academic person, or especially with English, that's not my forte. And like public speaking, yeah. Prior to this role, I used to be petrified of public speaking, believe it or not. Like even in year 11 classroom, when we're doing the speeches all through school, it's not my thing. Really did not like it, but I could perform in front of an audience. But as soon as I had to get up and say something, that was just a different story. But I don't know. Being in this role, I've obviously had to do that, and I've found like I love that now. Like that's so cool. Talking to, I don't know, and just being up there chatting to everyone. Yeah, I think that's really cool. But yeah, you don't have to be the best public speaker or the most confident person out there. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
It's not about being the most confident. It's about doing what you want to do. Is that where you were going, or being you, or genuine?
Yeah, just be you, be yourself, it's just showing genuine. You're not going to put on a face. You're not going to pretend to be someone. That's definitely if you're doing that and putting on a face and you're going into the role for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, true that, Chris. So, Chris, you said that you really overcame your fear of public speaking, and that you feel like that's improved you and your ability to lead. As of this moment, what one thing would you most like to change about yourself or improve on?
I feel sometimes that I'm not the most approachable guy. I'd like to think that I am, but although I know some of the things, I don't feel like I am. So I want to try and show I'm friendly, I'm happy, I'm easy to talk to. I want to try and portray that a bit more. What would I change about myself? I mean, I don't really tend to lead with the assembly videos. Getting it ready for Thursday. Wednesday night is a long night, and I don't know if you know Baxter, or we also do the student executive run in the Gum Leaf Gazette alongside the weekly riddle. We run the students in the spotlight, and those coming up on the Thursday when that all comes out. Yeah, Wednesday night is a big night, sometimes a very late night. So I guess being a bit more organized and trying to like backlog riddles and backlog not necessarily articles, but trying to find new ideas. That's always hard, coming up with new ideas on the articles, unless it's like some major standout point for that week. That can be challenging. So I guess be a bit more organized in that respect. However, and also trying to keep on top of my studies. I tend to like with the subjects I enjoy most. I do all that work. I'm always ahead in those subjects. However, some of the other ones, like my least favorite subjects, I do fall behind in because I'm not as motivated. So I guess trying to find that motivation to keep working on those subjects, and finding the time to do that as well. And I definitely need to pick up my game on that and not just focus on the ones I enjoy doing.
Well, thank you, Chris. Well, we have one final question for you, Chris.
Oh goodness.
Do you feel like you're successful?
Do I feel like I'm successful? Successful in what way?
That's for you to define.
Um,
Perhaps we should lead in with Chris. How do you define success?
Mm.
ooh, how do I define success?
Hmm.
You can view it from an academic sense. Am I successful academically? Am I receiving a good grades as such? Or you can view it from successful, and I've got a lot of close mates. I've got close friends and everything. I would consider myself to be successful. I'm in my dream role. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm surrounded by great people like yourselves. Every day I enjoy coming to school. I look forward to coming to school. My family life is, I'm really close with all my neighbors. I'm close with all my cousins. Yeah, I would consider myself to be successful. I try hard and I receive very good grades. I'd like to think I'm heading in the right step for the future, going into university. And I think I'm on the right track to achieve a high ATAR score. I would consider myself to be successful in that respect. I didn't really define success. It's all
That's fine.
in the eye of the beholder of what you have.
Absolutely.
But I think I'm on the right track to achieving great things in the future. I'd like
I'm
to think
sure
so,
you
at
will.
least.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. It's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thanks for having me.
And this has been the Starting Steps podcast.
First
you.
ever episode.
Awesome.
And thank you for watching. A
Catch you
beautiful
later.
time. Goodbye.